A very warm welcome to IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 12. I'm Ritwika Gupta. Tonight's episode promises to be truly special as we explore industries that haven't been extensively featured on Leaders of Tomorrow. Astrotech and the coffee market. Now, Astrotech, also known as Faith Tech, is a rapidly growing sector with numerous astrology platforms making waves. But can there be an intersection of astrology with modern business strategy? Meanwhile, in a nation of tea enthusiasts, we'll also uncover the biggest opportunities brewing in India's evolving coffee market. On the show tonight, I'll be first in conversation with Meena Kapoor, founder Astroyogi, and in the second segment, we get chatting with Abhinav Mathur, CEO of Somethings Brewing Kaapi Machines. I'm now joined live by Meena Kapoor, founder Astroyogi. Thank you so much, Meena, for joining us today.
Thank you, Ritwika. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, Meena, the Astrotech market in India is booming. $4 billion today, and it's projected to hit $6.5 billion by 2025. Tell us, what are the factors fueling this incredible growth, and what makes India such a hotbed for the industry?
So I think, first of all, digitization has contributed in a huge way to, allowing for us to be able to do this. And it's at both sides, don't forget. It's both at the user's side and also at the astrologer's side or the expert's side. They can now work from home as opposed from anywhere else. So that has contributed. Of course, UPI payments have contributed to this as well. Also, we've found that the demographic that is now interested in the Astrotech space is 18 to 35. In fact, that's our largest growing demographic. It's almost growing at a 35% year-on-year growth. So that's an interesting change that we've seen. And that is absolutely fueling a lot of the growth that we're seeing.
So, Meena, let's rewind a bit. How did Astroyogi come to life? What was the story?
My journey started with digital content, and that, for the longest while, we were actually, either powering internet portals or we were, in value-added services. We were partnered with Vodafone, Reliance, Airtel, etc., and, providing all their white label services. So all of that journey and then opening call centers is where this started. The genesis of it is that we were running call centers. From there, I found that there was a need. There was a need that was missing in this service, was that, the best of the best were not able to, or did not want to be, let me put it this way, want to be on, a 10 rupee a minute call, a 12 rupee a minute call. And I created an innovation of differential pricing. And that differential pricing actually was a game changer. It was a complete game changer because, at that point in time, let's not forget that cloud telephony had not yet come into the picture yet. It was just starting to come into the picture. So we created that innovation and were able to get the best people on board for that. And then we went, 16, 17, we went consumer facing. We became a consumer tech startup. And, the Talk to Astrologer, Astroyogi Talk to Astrologer app was then launched at that point in time.
Fantastic. Now, Astroyogi's reach is impressive, Meena, but beyond the consultation fees, give us a sense of how does the business model work? Are you exploring revenue streams like subscriptions, e-commerce, or other partnerships, perhaps?
So it's a variety of things on the content front. We continue to have, we've kept our original USP, and we provide it to, MSN, we provide it to Daily Hunt, we provide it to a couple of other partners. But the other main, of course, is our call, chat, and our live shows that we do. The new streams that we're now getting into in a big way, we have started them in 2024 and 2025 is when we'll really see them boomerang, is, the retail space. which is partly into the faith tech space, where remedies is a huge part of the astrology ecosystem, but there's also that space which is festivals. So just the festival market, that entire religious market, is an absolute opportunity that we're looking.
Sure. Now, Meena, while I was researching for this interview, I went to your website, and your website says Astroyogi helps young people find direction, guidance, and happiness. And that's amazing. But would you describe yourself as more of a therapist or an astrologer, or maybe a bit of both?
I think it's a mix of two things. See, because of the kind of you have the kind of privacy that we offer. You can be anonymous and be speaking to people. A lot of young people are reaching out, to our platform to say that we'd like to speak to someone, not be judged, and be able to have an open discussion about our life. So it is partially, obviously, part about your life journey and what astrology says about you, but it's also there is a certain amount of guidance that people seek as well.
Now, Astrotech or faith tech seems like an interesting space for investors. What's the vibe from the investor community? Why do you think traditional VCs are a little hesitant to jump on board?
See, it's an unorganized market. I'm sure they see the opportunity,
right?
But there is, there are not enough probably guidelines that are there, and there is, I guess, that is something that might be a thought for them. But as organizations like ours, which are the pioneers in this space, as we put in more and more guidelines for ourselves, we put in more and more guidelines for the kind of astrologers we will onboard, for the kind of products we will sell. As we put those guidelines, I think that hopefully that ambiguity is going to be taken away.
Now, astrology is often seen as controversial due to its lack of scientific backing. But in India, it's fascinating how deeply entrepreneurs rely on, for timing key decisions like launches or deals. Tell us, what's your advice to them on using astrology in business? Can it truly align with strategy?
So I would not align it with strategy per se. I think it's more of a belief system, and it's one of those things that if you can do something at a better time, and that this is a better time to do it, it just gives you maybe a sense of ease. It gives you your business is not going to be run by astrology. Your business is going to be run by your business strategy. But the astrology aspect of it, the belief system, Vastu, in for your office, etc., is not something that I think that's something that actually a lot of the entrepreneurs would like to look at that for sure.
Now, you have now ventured into markets like the US and Canada. What opportunities exist for Indian Astrotech companies looking to expand into international markets?
There is a absolute tremendous opportunity that is out there. At the present time, we are dealing with the Indian diaspora, and that's basically who we target. But if you look at the US market itself, the US and Canada market, there's a tremendous opportunity there. Basically, they predominantly have esoteric sciences like tarot, psychic readings, etc. For them to get more modalities like Vastu, like healing, other aspects of spirituality are things that they will absolutely, I mean, it's a very, very ripe opportunity, especially with the world looking to India for a lot of spiritual guidance, And so I find that there's some overlap there that absolutely can be taken advantage of.
Trust and privacy are hot topics in the digital age, and astrology isn't exempt from those challenges. How do you ensure users feel safe on your platform, Meena? Are there any regulatory frameworks you think are crucial for keeping your platform credible and ethical?
Ethics are so critical and important in this space. At the end of the day, you're talking about people and their life's problems. That's what you're talking about. And so the responsibility and the onus on business owners, founders is massive. It's huge on maintaining people's privacy and maintaining the kind of quality that you're providing. In our case, we have, end-to-end privacy in all conversations that are happening with our experts. There is absolutely no way that anyone knows who you are. Everyone is anonymous. That whole end-to-end aspect of it. But as I said, the founders have also got to be accountable for the kind of quality of people that they're providing. Both of those things, for the credibility and the privacy of it.
Well, it was lovely speaking to you, Meena. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Ritwika. It was a pleasure being on your show.
It's time for a quick break here. We'll be back shortly. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 12. Now, from the rise of coffee culture in a tea-dominated nation to ambitious expansion plans and innovative technologies, we discuss all that and more. On the hot seat is Abhinav Mathur, CEO of Somethings Brewing Kaapi Machines. Listen in. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Abhinav. Pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much, Ritwika. Pleasure to be here.
Now, Abhinav, the Indian coffee market is thriving with a valuation exceeding 15,000 crore rupees. What do you see as the most promising opportunities within this growing sector?
So, Ritwika, I would like to speak about the pre-COVID and the post-COVID changes in coffee. And what happened was, as people started to work from home more and more, the casual conversations, the way to have them became these cafes where people started to go. So a couple of big trends which we see in coffee emerging is the rise of specialty coffee. So basically coffee as a hero, and hence there are many specialty coffee chains and roasters coming up. And the other big trend that we are seeing is the emergence of home brewing. So people have been, of course, making coffee at home using instant coffee, especially in the north. South has been a filter coffee market. But what now we are seeing is many people prefer to make coffee on their own. So espresso machines and manual brews are becoming more and more popular. But the overall mega trend that we see is black coffee is coffee brewed on its own. And if I relate it to numbers, now already around 500 odd crores has become specialty coffee market out of this 15,000 odd crores, and more the growth is mostly coming from specialty coffee.
So India has traditionally been a nation of tea lovers. What do you think is fueling the rapid rise of coffee culture in the country?
Coffee inherently is a more complex beverage. So the way coffee is made, it's prepared, there are more variants. Some say coffee has more flavor notes than wine. So it's a very complex beverage. The way you roast coffee, the way you grind coffee, and the way you brew coffee, there are many combinations possible, which also means with this complexity comes a lot of conversations, a lot of people's own choices. For any consumer brand, the more you come closer to what a customer needs, the bigger the market is. And that's what we see happening in coffee. Apart from that, another consumer trend is with the emergence of Gen Z. They don't want to have the drinks of their parents. So the parents have chai or tea in home. The Gen Z specifically want to have something different, and they've found specialty coffee or brewed coffee to be their drink of choice.
Well, on that note, tell us, Abhinav, what was the inspiration behind launching Somethings Brewing Kaapi Machines?
So we call ourselves partners for your coffee business, and our whole inspiration from the beginning has to be part of this journey of coffee in India and to help entrepreneurs on the Kaapi machine side and home brewers on the Something Brewing side to brew a great cup of coffee. We see ourselves as enablers to the entire coffee movement in India. Kaapi Machine is around a 20-year-old company, and at that time, the only brands were Barista and Coffee Day, and we essentially help these brands grow through equipment, through training, through after-sales services. Similarly, on the home brewing side, this idea came during COVID, actually. We are all passionate about brewing coffee ourselves, apart from being part of the industry, and we were feeling we were missing our cup of coffee in the morning. So we thought there would be others like us who would not be able to brew a good cup of coffee during the lockdown. So we launched a site to make available the best of the international coffee gear and coffee at your doorstep. So that was a genesis of Something Brewing. We started in October 2020. On 1st October, the International Coffee Day. Then on 1st October 21, we launched our first retail store. We have recently launched our second retail store in Surat, and we want to expand our retail footprint. But the idea is the same, to grow the coffee community, the professional coffee community, as well as the home coffee community through tools, through techniques, and through after-sales service. So that's our mission, and that's where we are on.
Fantastic. And I understand that you aim to establish 100 retail outlets by 2025. Tell us, how do you plan to achieve this milestone, and which markets are going to be your primary focus?
The ambition is to reach 100, but not immediately, maybe 10 to 15 outlets in the next couple of years. And the idea is we want to do it. The first few stores, we want to be our own company-owned brand outlets. We are focusing on cities where we believe there's a mature coffee brewing culture already. So hence Bangalore to start with, and then very interestingly, Gujarat. Gujarat has a very mature specialty coffee culture. So those are the first markets we looked at. We would, of course, now head to metro cities like Delhi and Mumbai, but beyond that, Hyderabad, Chandigarh, those are the other markets in our radar where we want to expand next. Beyond that, we are also looking for partnerships. There are many local, coffee roasters who are wanting to collaborate with us, maybe give us a store in store. So we will do a few collaborative stores as well. Beyond that, we are also looking at shop-in-shop spaces in Chroma and a few other retail stores which are interested in growing home brewing as a niche segment for their set of consumers.
Could you share your strategy for building a retail presence, Abhinav? Is your focus more on offline, online, or are you taking an omni-channel approach?
So every D2C brand gets to omni-channel eventually, but we have been omni-channel from day one. So as I said, we launched a retail store within our first year of existence. So we were very sure that we want to be omni-channel because coffee is such an experiential product. You want to experience the entire coffee brewing. You want to smell coffee, you want to touch, you want to taste coffee before you buy the coffee gear of your choice. And we feel that will not happen unless we have a retail footprint. Hence, the idea of having retail stores. Even online, our cycles of conversion of a customer, or from the time a customer comes to us to the time they purchase, is sometimes between 1 month and 3 months, because they are interacting with our team constantly, because they are getting educated as they are making the purchase. So hence, our approach is always omni-channel with high touch. By high touch, retail is a touch point. Doing a lot of events and engagement and community building activities is the other. And of course, augmented by our online presence. We do a lot of tutorials of coffee on our site. We do a lot of online sessions for customers, trainings, all kinds of initiatives we take to educate customers. And then we believe if customers are educated, they will come seeking the right product from us.
So Abhinav, especially as a D2C brand, what do you see as the biggest challenges facing young retail businesses in India today?
D2C, with the amount of venture funding that has happened over the last few years, has meant that there's a lot of clutter existing. To get the attention of a customer is becoming very, very difficult for any brand. You may spend a lot of money to initially gain some attention, but then some other brand comes along, spends more money, and the customer just goes away. So retaining customers is the real challenge. The first sale sometimes happens, but then retention is the main challenge for any D2C brand. And which is why, again, our approach is a very community-first, community-led approach. A lot of our customers come seeking us because of word of mouth, or they attend one of our events and then they remember us and then they buy. And once they buy, coffee is such a beautiful space that you are always looking for something different. So we have a very high sticky base of customers who keep coming back to us, and we are very proud that we are able to retain our customers. And that, I think, is a real trick to have a successful D2C business.
And how would you say technology is shaping the coffee brewing experience?
Coffee has always been very technology forward. You would be very interested in knowing that almost 100 years back, automatic coffee machines were already being designed. So even before India gained independence, there were automatic coffee machines existing in Germany and Italy. And if anything, the automation has become more and more prominent in coffee. So right from the start, which is in roasting, the way coffee is roasted, or even going behind green coffee processing. There is a lot of automation being used. There are drones which are monitoring the estates to know the kind of crop that is coming up, the way coffee is processed. There's a lot of technology which is being used to know when exactly to process the coffee, how much to process. Roasting involves a lot of profiling. So, knowing exactly what kind of roast profile will yield the right kind of flavor for the end customer. Coming to the brewing itself, the machines, there are various kinds of machines. So the way the coffee is ground, the way it is brewed, the flow rate at which the coffee is extracted, each of these areas, there is technology playing a very major role to make sure that you get a perfect cup of coffee. You would not believe coffee has even reached the latte art which a barista makes. There are now machines which can print a beautiful latte on top of your coffee, or can foam your milk in the just the precise way so that when the barista is actually making the latte art, you get that perfect cup of coffee. So through the entire process, there's a lot of technology that has come in. Just to finally add, sharing of recipes has become very, very easy because of technology. We ourselves have Kaapi IoT as our own technology, which helps sharing of recipes across various machines, looking at data of how much coffee is being brewed, which is used by many offices, corporates, and hotels. So technology is playing a role in almost all aspects of coffee brewing.
Fantastic. Well, finally, Abhinav, tell us, what is your long-term vision for Somethings Brewing and Kaapi Machines?
We will remain on this journey of growing the community of coffee lovers, be it a home brewer or a professional, and we want to be the enablers to the system. So everything that we do now onwards is how we can enable. We are very inspired by the Make in India mission. So what we are now working on is to set up a manufacturing business in India so that we also, apart from having fantastic European or American coffee machines, also have Indian coffee machines which cater to the Indian taste. So we are developing manufacturing facilities.
Well, all the very best to you, Abhinav. Thank you so much for your time. It was great having you on Leaders of Tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Ritwika. Pleasure being here.
And with that, it's a wrap on this episode of IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 12. We hope you enjoyed the conversations. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.